Hello, it's me, Sandy E, and it snowed last night, and I'm cold. The electricity's off. So my daughter is being kind enough to let me burn a few candles to take the snip of the heat off and to give me some light. And they're pretty candles too. So I'm gonna turn the camera around and let you see the candles. Pretty, aren't they? Anyways, it's taking the nip off a little bit, the heat from the candles, so that's a little bit better. But Lord, it's cold. My grandson got up and he shoveled the sidewalks, but I don't know if he cleaned the cars off yet. Um, uh, Schools are closed, government's closed. Um, Angel internet's off, of course, so Angel can't work from home. Um, I was supposed to go somewhere and run an errand and take care of some business today, but guess what? I ain't getting out in this stuff. Mm-mm. No, sir. Even though I've got turbo, which I can turn into a four-wheel drive if I need to in the car. Never used it though, so I have no clue how to. So I'm just going to stay myself home and be safe. My daughter's here with me. My grandson, he came in and checked on me, knocked on the door, and said if I needed more blankets, he's got plenty. But these blankets I got on's heavy already. So, and I've got double clothes on. I've got like triple clothes on. So, I've got like the little leggings on underneath the little thing that I got on for my um, nightwear, and then I've got two shirts plus this nice warm uh, hoodie that I got for free, and it was a gift. So yeah, it keeps me nice and warm. And that's the way it is. So this is the second video of 2022. The first one, the electricity was on. Second one, the electricity ain't. I'm thinking about that. Maybe our government should have a shadow government that don't run on the internet. I'm just saying, internet crashes, all kinds of crap happens. Gas lines get logged up and clogged down, you can't get your gas and stuff, and all kinds of stuff happens when computers go out. So I can see why in the olden days people were very adamant about taking care of the earth, because it will take care of you if you take care of it. I mean, you can go build you a house inside a mountain that's warmer than the outside. Or you could use the coal just for your own purposes and it'll stay there forever, and help people. But they get greedy and they want to send it to other countries and they make money off of it and they kill the miners, not mining safe coal, and it's just not good. But that's business, right? If you ain't honest, you can't make it in business. That's what they tell me. Now, I guess it's true because my business failed. We did music. We had three avenues actually. It was a corporation, Barker Consulting. He was my son. Did consulting for people like DNC, and he did his own work. And then he got married and closed that down, I guess. And then Angel got married, and she was modeling. She was going to modeling. She was in charge of the fashion and stuff because I have no taste in fashion, period. And so that was her avenue. And me, I just wrote songs and poems and entertained. Basically, was a DJ on the radio. I was pretty good on the radio though. I hear I was pretty popular. My son got to researching it and he said that I was syndicated, whatever that means. Apparently, my show was syndicated, but when I left the show, and I left because my daughter got cancer, and the owner of the radio station told me radio comes before my family, and like heck it does. You work so your family can eat, and radio did not come before my family. Music does not come before my family. So I gave up a lot of avenues in music where I could have probably, if I hadn't been married, made something with it. But then would I have been happy? I wouldn't have kids. I wouldn't have grandkids, more than likely. And so I probably would have been a drug addict by now or a alcoholic, which I got drunk once. It wasn't pretty when I figured out I can't drink, because some people just can't drink. Uh, I have too much anger in me. And when you drink and you got anger in you, it's a bad thing. It's not good. So I said, okay, I can't do this. I have two kids to raise. I have to make my decision. My decision was I will never drink again. And I don't. And I've never. gotten drunk again ever. Not that drunk ever. I've maybe tasted one drink of champagne on New Year's Eve and then said, ugh, tastes horrible. I don't want it no more. But that was my decision. That was me. And everybody has to make their own decisions for their own life and for their own families and for their own, well-being. And as my son would say, it's their journey. So make sure your journey is a safe one. I tend to speak out too much about things that just ain't right. It just ain't right. I mean, stealing electricity, making somebody else pay for it, ain't right. Sorry, ain't right. And it just ain't right. Come on now, or going out and making some kind of drug that's going to kill somebody. Is that right? I don't think it's right, but other people do because they're making like $10,000 a week doing it. It's a lot of money, but I'm sorry, my conscience wouldn't let me do that. I can't. I had the opportunity, I was offered. Can't do that. I'm sorry, don't your conscience bother you? I ask them. Doesn't your conscience bother you knowing that you did something that made somebody die? Don't bother you? Bothers me. So I couldn't do that. So I take the hard road. The straight and narrow, as they say, ain't pretty, ain't no fun sometimes, but it's the best way to take when you want to be good for your family. And family is everything. Family is everything. And God or your spiritual arising or whatever you believe in is everything. You might believe there is no God. Well, that's your everything. That's your belief. It's your opportunity. It's your belief. It's your privilege. You have your opinion. I have my opinion. My opinion don't count much for a lot of people, and some people it does, and some people it has touched, and some people it has not. Some people it's made want to kill me, and they've tried. I'm still here. Not that I'm wanting to be. I'm not trying to be. I'm terrible about going to doctors. Right now I need surgery on my back. I won't go. I need surgery on my colon and I can't afford it. I need a tooth out from under my nose and I can't afford that. So, you know, I've been coughing more today since it's cold weather. I guess the cold in your lungs ain't good for it. Can you imagine those poor miners though being in them coal mines and it's hot in there, working their tails off and come outside and it's snowed and freezing. Then they're hot and sweaty and they get cold. Poor miners. My brother-in-law got killed in coal mines. I hated that. I loved that man to pieces. He was a good man. I mean, I wasn't the best to him when he was dating my sister. Mama made me go make coffee, and I didn't think it was right for her to make me make coffee, and it wasn't my boyfriend. So I said, okay, I'll make his coffee, fine. So I did. I shouldn't have done that to him though, because I should have done something to her or mommy, but not him. But he wouldn't say no to nothing. And I'm going, well, that's plumb stupid, so I thought that was stupid. I figured I'd teach him a lesson. So I said, you want cream in your coffee? Yeah. Salt? Yeah. Pepper? Yeah. Grease? Yeah. So I put it all in there. Poor man, he took one sip of that coffee and he didn't say a word, set it down, didn't drink no more. Mommy knew what was wrong. Mommy took one look at me because she knew I was watching him. She took one look at him. She knew what had happened because she knew what I would do. She knew I was mad because I didn't want to make coffee. So she said, Kate, what'd you do to that coffee? Boy, I got a whipping for that one. But he got me back. Later on, when I went to stay with him in Michigan, he was working, and we left the coal mines, thank God. Well, then he went back. He shouldn't have went back. Stayed in the Ford factory, maybe. Anyways, he got laid off from Ford factory, I guess, and then went back to the coal mines. But he was in Michigan, and I went up there, and they had this little bed that, those beds you fold up into like this, fold up like this and stand against the wall. I have them in hospitals a lot, so when, somebody's dying and somebody wants to stay in there, they let them. Uh, Anyways, they had one of those beds, and that's what I slept in. And he got up about 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work at the Ford factory. And he saw me sleeping, and he took that bed apart. He took that bed and folded me up in that bed. So when I woke up rudely by looking straight up in the air, and my feet stuck straight up in the air, and I was like stuck in that bed and couldn't get out. Pete had to let me out, but she let me out, and he was a good man. I hated that he got killed in the coal mines, and that tore me up when it happened. I didn't get to go to his funeral because I stayed down there too long, and my husband made me leave, and I was mad at him over that. He could have let me stay. And it was an emergency, family emergency. He could have let me stay. I could have went back on a bus later, but he wouldn't. And it made me mad. And I thought, well, wow. Later on, after I got thinking about that, well, that's plumb stupid of me. I should have said, well, you know what? Go on with your dad blame self. But I didn't. I went ahead and I stayed with the man. I had a daughter, and then we ended up getting divorced anyway because he just didn't want to be married to me. He couldn't handle me. I was pretty much psychic, and he couldn't handle that. And when I'd say things, and he'd say it was stupid, and it turned out to be true, he couldn't handle that. He couldn't handle the fact that every time in my family something happened, I wanted to run home, and he couldn't handle the fact that I was generous and I gave too much to my family. And he just, I mean, I was smarter than him really at when you think about it. But because when I took my GED, it said 99% of the high school graduates could pass, and I know I was smarter than him because I was correcting his math, correcting his English, and I was taking care of checkbooks and stuff. And so once he took over, we started bouncing checks because I got mad because he kept telling me I was spending too much on groceries. And what it was, he wanted steak and pork chops every day, and you can't afford that when you're making little money. When I got laid off, we couldn't afford that, so I told him, you go, because I'm tired of you arguing with me over what I spend. And when he went, he spent 3 times as much that I spent. And we overran, check account got bounced out and stuff. And he didn't like that. But hey, you're the one who went and bought steaks and pork chops when you could have ate something a little healthier, in my opinion. I mean, every once in a while, steak and pork chops fine, but dad blame every freaking day. Nothing but that. It ain't really healthy. And it's expensive. And so he didn't like that, and then he started accusing me of being with somebody. And honest to God, I'd never been with nobody. When that happened, I said I've had it. I mean, he spent 6 years telling me how stupid I was, and me taking care of business at home, and him not wanting to buy a house, and me telling him it was smart too, and he'd bought the house, and we did. Only thing was, it was in the 50s, 60s, and early 70s, and the house went in the man's name, not the woman. So when I was paying more on the house than he was, and he got rid of the house, I lost. He didn't lose no money. I lost money. He didn't. And had to leave. I wanted to stay there. I wanted to stay there. You can go on and then come back. We can keep the house, and it's the kids love it here. But no, he didn't want that. He wanted a divorce, and so he sold the house after under me, and I had to move. I had to leave. And he came back and wanted me back, but as after he showed up with 2 women on each arm when my son had surgery. And I said, no. After he'd already come back from Europe and pretty much let me know he'd been untrue to me. So I said, no, I've had 6 years of this. I don't need no more of this. I'm done. I'm done. You've made me feel low about myself for far too long. And I know I'm smarter than you think I am because I passed that GED. And he told me I couldn't, and I did. It cost me $50, but it was my dad blame $50, not his. And I passed my GED and got my GED and diploma, and I went to college. I did. I went to college, and I was glad. And I'd go back right now. I'm thinking about it. I might go back to college. I've had brain injuries, so I have to relearn everything. It's going to be like starting over again, but I guess you can relearn. Your brain's very vigilant. And it's a good tool if you use it properly, but you don't want to get it beat on a lot. And I have quite a few beatings in my head. So, car accidents, head injuries, car accidents, head injuries, 2 on a job, head injuries, beaten up, head injuries, bad head injuries. So, yeah, it does damage to your brain and you can't think. And I stutter now when I get frustrated or stressed. I stutter and it's frustrating, but I try to laugh it off and make fun of it, so it's not as painful. Although if somebody else laughed and made fun of me, it would probably hurt my feelings. So I see when other people are disadvantaged or they're challenged or special needs and people make fun of me, it makes me madder than a hornet. I want to bust some faces. And I'm old, I can't be busting faces anymore. I might have done that when I was young a little bit, but I can't do it now. I can't do it now. I'm barely able to hold up my own self. Well, it is what it is. And I don't feel like a song because I'm cold. And it is. It's getting a little warmer though since the candles have been lit and lit for a while. So it's a little bit warmer in here. Well, I'm gonna let y'all go. Not that you're tuning in anyway, but in case you did, the one and only. See, proper way to cough. Cover your mouth. So, anyways, prayers, peace to anyone who pray. Good thoughts to those who don't. Peace, love, harmony, always.